All right, guys, we are live. Welcome to Order of Redmond. I'm Josh. Wait for a little bit for people to show up. Anybody's in the chat? Welcome. Uh, doing this, doing this little podcast to give the reactions for the WWE Day One pay-per-view. Got a lot to cover, and we'll have some general wrestling talk as well. Let's see if we can pull some of these results up and just give a general consensus of the pay-per-view from last night and have a good chat. All right. How about that face?
What do you mean that face?
And yes, we do have a new WWE World Heavyweight Champion, and his name is Brock Lesnar. All right. It was a pretty simple, short card, so not much to deep dive into, really. But let's see if I can pull up the. All right, there we go. We'll start off with Kickoff. Basically, it was Cesaro and Ricochet versus Rich Holland and Sheamus. Tag team match. Overall, it was pretty good, and but Rich Holland did get injured, so.
Number 7?
But they did win the match. Rich Holland had to be taken out about, I would say, 3 to 5 minutes in, and then it was pretty much Sheamus versus Cesaro and Ricochet. Sheamus did come out with the win, pinning Cesaro with the bro kick. And so yeah, that was the first match. Then they were doing the kickoff panel, just giving predictions pretty much. And then we get into the actual card, and it was for the SmackDown Tag Team titles, and it was New Usos defending titles against New Day. This was probably match of the night. Awesome tag team match. Really good tag team wrestling between the two. Hey, Nate. What's going on? Chuck, welcome. I have not. Let me check real quick, Chuck, because I've been looking for your friend request, but I didn't see it. Yeah, try to send it again, and I'll definitely accept it. Hang on 1 second. Hey, Nate. Hey, Chuck. I've been reaching out to try to get more people in the chat so we can get these wrestling talks going. You know, I know with our communities, it's we don't have that many wrestling fans, but we can build on that. So yeah, let me in. Do you want to come on the show, Nate, or you just want to stay in the chat? It's up to you. Oh yeah, Chuck, I subbed to your channel the other night. I saw some of your content. I really like it. Thought it was really cool. So yeah, I just want to let you know that. Yeah, so I just covered we'll go back to the kickoff. Yeah, basically it was Ricochet and Cesaro versus Sheamus and Ridge Holland. I thought it was good. It was pretty much we figured out who was gonna win it because they've been doing the storyline with Sheamus and Ridge Holland. Just give me 1 second, Nate. I'm trying to figure out how I send you the Discord link. Actually, I'll post it in the chat, and I'll post it in the chat and see if that can get you to jump on. That should be the link, and just come on in. We can chat a little more. Yeah, that was the kickoff. It was okay. There was a botch injury to Ridge Holland. Again, I get it, man. Attitude Era. That's awesome. Just give me 1 second. Check it again. Dang it, man. I still don't see it. Let me try this again. Let's see. I'm going to type it in again. Maybe I typed it wrong last time. I might have put like too many numbers last time. All right, just give me 1 second. I see you here, Nate.
Hello.
Welcome.
What's up, everyone?
Yeah, I was just going over the kickoff. We just started and got into that. So.
Oh, I like the kickoff. That was
that wasn't bad, and you pretty much figured that Sheamus and Ridge Holland were going to do it because they've been doing some storyline stuff with that.
Yeah, they're
really
trying to build.
Done much with Ricochet and Cesaro. So.
Yeah, exactly. They're trying to build Ridge Holland, and especially with having Sheamus as his like manager / partner, it definitely helped out a lot. I gotta be honest. I love Ricochet. Ricochet has always, every time he has a match, it's always impressive.
Oh yeah, he's been great. Like, I didn't like his story in NXT because it's like they were pushing him as this humble good guy, but yet they had him suits and the Prince Puma thing that they were doing. Yeah. I just like with what they were trying to do, I don't think that was like they try to make him look like royalty and wearing like the Miz suits and stuff like that.
Even though the Miz sucks.
Yeah, but like with Ricochet's character.
Yeah, it just felt weird.
It didn't. If he was a heel, that would have been perfect. But as a babyface, I don't think that it could relate to people. But when he first came on the main roster, I think for the first 6 months, turning him into like the good guy superhero, almost like a real Spider-Man or something like that, with the
which is kind of stuff. Which I think that was like Paul Heyman's idea.
Yeah, when Paul Heyman was doing Raw, I thought it was great.
Yeah, he was
pushing Bobby, like
Apollo.
Apollo. Yeah. He was getting the Apollo was getting the freaking underdog babyface, but it worked for Apollo. Like I didn't think Apollo would be like a freaking underdog babyface that it would work, but it did work. And I was pleasantly surprised with that. But yeah, with Rick, and I love the stuff that Paul was doing to Ricochet. That was really good
until they ruined it.
Until freaking people had to get thrown under the bus and all that stuff, and the politicking. You know how wrestling goes.
I really hate that. It really bothers.
It sucks. It really does. But yeah, like the biggest takeaway, I'll talk about it in a little bit. Let's go through this card.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, like when it comes to the main event, I'll deep dive into my personal thoughts on the whole thing.
Gotcha.
All right, so next we got the SmackDown Tag Titles. Usos defended against the New Day. This was a freaking banger. I have seen the Usos in the New Day for about 5 years. And it got to a point, and this is before Bloodline, this is before they went heel and dropped the Samoan gimmick.
Thank God.
Just got boring, and I think a lot of people got bored with the Usos because they felt like they were putting on a gimmick. And
because they were.
I grew up in the Attitude Era, and a lot of people had a gimmick. But like we're in the reality era kind of now, so people want to see real people. They don't want to see characters. They don't want to see a gimmick. They want to see real people. And when they dropped that and started being themselves, and they did the Uso Penitentiary, and,
which I like,
being tough guys from the streets that can wrestle, that have that family lineage, that can also knock your block off. Like I loved it when they turned first time they turned the Usos heel and dropped that stuff. And then
I'm glad they
changed
did
the way they were looking and like stopped with the baggy freaking 3-minute warning shorts and just were like Jimmy and Jay, and they wore the pants almost like the Shield, but then they just started being themselves. Mm-hmm. It felt like their promos were a little less scripted, a little more authentic. Mm-hmm. And I just like, this is the Usos I always wanted, and I just been a fan since and love their work. The thing about tag teams, everybody's got a friend, and that's the most relatable in tag team wrestling. You've got a friend, you would love to tag with your friend. Who wouldn't want to be side-by-side champions with their best friend? And then when it's brothers, it's even better.
Yeah.
Because they got that bond there. And so, like, brother tag teams I really like. The Hardys I liked for a while, but then there's that problem.
Yeah,
but like most brother tag teams or people close like brothers, I'm really into.
Oh, you mean like the Young Bucks?
Yeah, that's. I just feel, I know there are a lot of Young Bucks fans out there, and if you're a Young Bucks fan, that's cool. I'm not into the character. To me, it feels like they're cosplaying as wrestlers, not like they're actual wrestlers. It's like if you went into SmackDown versus Raw and you created a tag team, the Bucks would be the generic tag team. The Bucks remind me of 1995 Hardys with maybe a Lucha Dragon Flair or something like that.
So it's like Team Extreme.
Yeah, it's like be yourself. And I didn't like the Usos, and then they started being themselves, who they really are. Not cosplaying as the Wild Samoans, but being themselves, who they are, modern day, who they are personally. And I didn't look at them as Jimmy and Jay. I looked at them as John and Josh Fatu, and it's just you can feel that it's more authentic. And but they defended their tag titles against the New Day. And here's the thing, we've seen this match so many times, but the beautiful thing, and I think this really got to Xavier Woods, people looked at the New Day as a comedy gimmick.
That's true.
They looked at it as a comedy group, funny, ha-ha, and that really lit a fire under them.
Yes.
And I think they started changing the way they did their gimmick and the way they did their matches. And they got serious. And the first time that was them versus Usos Hell in a Cell. I want to say it was 2017 or 2018.
I think
and
it was.
And they freaking tore the house down. And this is why, in my opinion, these two teams are the best, probably the best two teams in WWE and probably of pro wrestling. Because they found a way, they can fight again and again, but they can reinvent their style. They can make matches that you've seen like 100 times, they can make it interesting, and they can make every match seem fresh. So I really like that.
I'll be honest. Yeah, it was 2017 in Hell in a Cell.
Yeah.
But for me, I think I compared them very differently. It's like they're the modern day Wild Samoans, the Usos, and the New Day is pretty much what's that team? I can't remember the team. The one with Tony Atlas and Rocky Johnson group. I can't remember the name, but
yeah, I know the one you're talking about.
Yeah, exactly. I believe those two. It's like each time with a match, they elevated themselves time and time again. Oh, hi, Chuck.
Hey, Chuck.
What's up,
Welcome
y'all?
to the show.
How you doing?
Doing good. So, are y'all tired of seeing Usos versus New Day or what?
Not really.
Really?
It can, but like last night did good because like okay, so they defended the titles. It was a really good match, and then Usos won by doing the 3D as their finish, which is the first time they've ever done it. So in that finish, they kept it fresh, and that's what I like. They find ways to switch up. There was a time, Chuck, where I was sick and tired, like freaking Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax, sick and tired of watching them fight every freaking week, every month. It got bad. But like after Hell in a Cell, New Day was like, we can be serious when we want to be. Mm-hmm. And so from time to time you'd see it. And when they did fight, they found a way to switch it up, which I didn't think was possible. And then I'm like, okay, I don't mind seeing these guys now. But yeah, I can understand how you're sick of seeing it because it's for years they've done it. But yeah,
I was actually hoping to see the Viking Raiders get a shot at the title.
I think they're gonna do that down the road.
Are they on SmackDown?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think so, right? I think so.
I don't know which one.
No, I'm sorry, guys, but I got to cover this next one.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Sure. So we had Drew McIntyre versus Madcap Moss.
That I won.
And I honestly thought, because we talked about this in the predictions, I thought it was going to be a squash. Because it's like Madcap Moss is the sidekick to Baron Corbin or Happy Corbin. So I thought Drew's going to come out. They're trying to build Drew back up, I think, to face Roman. I think that's going to be the WrestleMania match. But he didn't. And I should have figured because Drew doesn't like to bury anyone. Personally, Drew's a nice guy, and he likes to give everybody a chance. Even when they were trying to freaking bury Andrade freaking on the main roster, not really give him a push, freaking Drew gave him the time and gave him time to freaking do a full match.
Which was a good match.
Yeah. So, and even when he rivaled with Ziggler, he gave Ziggler time to shine, even though he knew he was going to go over. Drew doesn't bury anyone. So it was a long match. It wasn't bad. And Drew came up with a win. It was good.
But the thing, it got bad from worse now because I heard that Drew got injured. I think he has a neck. I think he's having something wrong on the neck.
Oh dang! Yeah, I didn't. I thought the only one was the Rich Holland injury, but yeah, Drew should be all right. Definitely be sending well wishes. But yeah. Well, what were your guys' thoughts on this match?
I didn't care for it because I was.
I agree with Nate.
I didn't care because I was like, this is a sleeping match. I really was wanted to fall asleep. I was like the entire time. Okay. I just glad it was over.
Because we've seen it on SmackDown, or because you don't really care about Madcap or the whole thing.
I just don't like Riddick Boss in general. I never liked him in I never liked him in NXT. I never liked him in NXT. All he was pretty much a knockoff of a taller Tony Nese, and he just irritated me. And then in the main roster, all he was a 24/7 championship, only to get pinned by R-Truth yet again. The thing about it is, Riddick Moss throughout his main roster run, he is a background wrestler, and now what is he doing? Being a background to Happy Corbin. Happy Corbin, and don't get me wrong, I like Baron Corbin, but I mean this version of Baron Corbin sucks. He's
Yes.
awful,
Yeah.
Yes.
especially those god awful happy talks. It's god awful.
Yes.
Yeah, I understand you're not a fan.
But
Chuck,
oh yeah, sorry.
oh,
I'm
sorry.
just gonna say for this. I'm just gonna say for this ending part. For me, if you want me to invest with Madcap Moss, separate from freaking Corbin, and let him build himself up. Especially go after the Intercontinental Championship with Shinsuke Nakamura, because there's nobody else in there besides Ricochet would be invested to go after the title.
Yeah, I understand that. Chuck, what's your thoughts on the match and everything? How'd you feel about it?
On Drew?
With Drew and versus Madcap Moss.
Started on Drew. I agree with Nate on that. The sleeper match. Different reasons though, because I don't like Drew McIntyre.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I just never liked the guy.
You just never been invested in the character or anything?
No.
And especially the freaking sword.
Well, yeah, but everyone has their likes and dislikes. So yeah, I'm just trying to get Chuck's take on it. So yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
It's okay.
I like the sword though. The sword was cool.
It's nice. It's nice.
Yeah. The sword was all right at first for me, but like now.
But now they're running it into the ground.
Yeah, I've always been a Drew fan since the beginning. Like when his first run,
which was awesome.
3MB pissed me off.
Yeah, it did.
Because I thought it underutilized. I like Jinder Mahal too, and I like Heath Slater, but I didn't like the way they were being used. I've seen serious Heath Slater. We saw him with the Nexus. Dude was a really good and a good tag team with Justin Gabriel. I love the Nexus. I thought they were one of the best factions since the NWO. Like, I don't like 4-man factions. I mean, like, if you have a faction, you need to have a big faction. Because yes, have your 4 centerpieces, but then you need to have a couple managers and some freaking underlings to protect those 4 centerpieces. So yeah, like, but freaking, I like Drew. I know they're building him up. I know this was filler, straight up filler. Freaking, I don't mind the Happy Corbin stuff because I know what it is. They're trying to get a really bad comedy heel gimmick over. And I just don't think it's sticking with anybody. The bad jokes are intentional. They think that that's going to get heel heat. I'm like, if you want to talk about a good comedy heel group that's taken seriously, Rollins and KO. Yeah. They got chemistry for days, and I think they're awesome. And I think they're eventually going to make them a tag team. But we'll cover more about that when we get to the main event. But, all right, so let's move on to the next one. Okay, so the next one was RK Bro defending their titles against the Street Profits. Here we go. So there was a rap group. What were they called, Nate? Migos?
It's the Migos.
Okay, Migos. All right. So they were backstage, and they were trying to hype up the pay-per-view in the match. And then Orton and Riddle come out, and they bring Migos out with them. They sit like in these judges. To me, it looked like judges' chairs. You guys can judge for yourself, but to me, it looked like, are these going to be the guys that are going to show up at AEW and judge the Bryan Danielson and Hangman Paige match? Because it just looked like they were freaking judges. But then Street Profits came out. They had a really good match. RK Bro came out with the win, and then they all celebrated. For a second, I thought that Street Profits were going to go heel, or someone was going to turn on somebody, but it didn't happen. They were all just celebrating. Not much, but it was a pretty good match. And what are your guys' thoughts?
Go, Chuck.
Oh, I didn't even watch it. So go ahead, Nate.
Oh,
I don't like RK Bro. I don't like RK Bro. You know,
all right. Well, since Chuck didn't watch it, so I gotta say something now. For me, I will say I did not care about the Migos, But I know the reason why they brought the Migos in there is because Cardi B is already is going to is coming to WWE, so they're using it's just a use for that, which I totally understand. I believe
Uh,
the match was a good match. It was overall good. The ending was what I already expected to be because they're trying to, like I said, I already see the match for the future, which will be RK Bro versus Alpha Academy. And I think
yeah.
both Gable and Otis need this because I believe Otis, because being there together, they're a good heel, but they're not, to put them over the top, especially beating a team like a Riddle and an Orton for the tag team championship will send them over the moon.
Okay. Yeah. I thought that the Migos were for like because they try to do anytime they're doing a new pay per view or something that they're trying to turn into a big four. They usually bring a celebrity or a musical artist for like to try to get that mainstream appeal. I didn't connect the dots with Cardi B, but of course I'm not as familiar with that genre and like the mainstream. I listen to heavy rock music, so and heavy rock music isn't in the mainstream as it used to be. So, but so I didn't know the connection to Cardi B, but that's definitely interesting.
Hmm.
Okay, we will move on to the next one. The next one, and I for what it's worth, I enjoyed parts of this and not other parts, but we had we had Edge versus the Miz. Edge came off with the win. The match was very slow paced, and I can understand for a newer fan how that would like not be good for, or they wouldn't be interested in it because for so long it's been the faster paced matches. But like growing up, we had slower paced matches, especially in the 80s and 90s. We had a lot of slower pace, especially by like I remember freaking Taker versus Sid, and that felt like it was forever.
Oh my god!
That WrestleMania match felt like it took forever.
Oh my god!
But yeah, but the finish was Miz was trying to cheat to win. He's the heel, so he should. And then Miz starts pointing his finger, and who comes up the ramp but Beth Phoenix? And she looked good. She looked badass. She looked awesome. She goes around. She chases off Maurice, which distracts Miz. He gets speared, rolled up by Edge. 1, 2, 3. And then Edge and Beth for the first time on main roster in a ring that I know of. They're standing tall, and they just got the coolest look and pretty much trying to get the visual shot of, okay, this is going to be a tag team feud. And I think they're going to hold it off till WrestleMania. I know the dirt sheets are going to say they're going to pull the trigger at Rumble, but I think they're going to draw it out. Because if you got to look at the long game. If they're going to draw it out, this could be really good for WrestleMania. I'm into it already. I thought Beth looked awesome. I thought Beth looked the best that she's ever looked. Edge always looks awesome. Freaking, the match I wasn't the biggest fan of, but the finish I loved, and I thought it was great. What's your guys' opinion?
Go ahead, Nate.
I'm gonna say this. I don't hate the Miz.
I do.
I like your confidence, Chuck. I don't hate the I don't hate the Miz. But I feel like this was a bad match from Edge standpoint. Because Edge, like you could tell, Edge is more of a fast-paced person. He's more like go. When the match goes high octane, the energy goes. And when he faced off with the Miz, you could tell, like, even though he was into it, you could see like that next gear wasn't going. until like the end of the match when Beth rushed in. I want this. I'll be honest. I'm glad that Edge won because I want this to be a one and done. I want this to be a one and done. Wait till WrestleMania. Let the Miz cost Edge the Rumble. Then you're gonna build it up for WrestleMania. Then it's gonna be a mix. It's gonna be a mixed tag with Maurice and Miz, Beth, Edge, and let it be done. That's
Yeah, okay, so you're pretty much from the stance that you don't want this thing in the first place.
I never wanted it, and I was like, as much as like I said, the Miz. I never like I said, the Miz was even in the beginning when he was. When I remember when he first came to SmackDown, and I was like, and I'm glad that he has got the success that he's gotten. But I'm telling you this, for his first return match, Edge should not be the first person he should have gone with. To be honest, I would have gone with Damian Priest. And the reason why I would go with Damian Priest, because think about it from this perspective. Remember, he was dragged. We saw that terrible match in WrestleMania Backlash, god-awful name, where he got dragged by the stupid zombies. And I think that his first feud should have been with Damian Priest, and he goes out there, make it a long-term booking, make it a good booking, and then when he does face off, then you have Edge situation, and then you can make it, and then you can build that. That's just me.
Mm-hmm. All right, Chuck. What was your thoughts on this?
Well, I'm gonna. I don't like Miz. I just said I don't like Miz, but the only good Miz storyline he ever had feud-wise was with Daniel Bryan.
Yeah,
true.
That was the only good one. Everything else has just been crap.
Mediocre.
Yeah.
I agree with that. Yeah. I guess for me. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, go ahead. I was just gonna say with Edge, I mean, yeah, it'd been cool to see Edge take on someone from the past like he did with Randy, that feud there and everything. But there's no one left. It's just because they all got fired, So
Yeah. I guess I just see the potential because I've wanted to see Edge and Beth as a tag team. I know it's never going to be a long thing, so I'm fine with that. I did like the Miz and Maurice versus Cena and Nikki Bella for one simple reason. Miz and Maurice have chemistry. They're really good when they're together. Yes, as far as solo feuds, Miz versus Daniel Bryan in the Talkin' Smack promo, which I think is synonymous with WWE moments, especially if you like shoot promo type moments. I know I do when it's done right. I thought that was probably solo the best, but when they go up against another couples, Miz and Maurice, they're second to none. They're great. The promos are good. They can make me laugh. They can piss me off. They're just done very well. So I think I think after this, Miz will probably go away again for a while. This is probably a filler feud, I'm guessing. It's probably going to be a filler feud just because they got other plans right now. And this gives Edge to do something, and Miz has been known to be a very safe hand. People do like working with the Miz because they know they're going to be taken care of. The problem with Miz's most of his career is that his booking has been so bad. In a way, I feel sorry for the Miz because since he came in reality host.
Hoorah!
Yeah, all that stupid crap. Then he was wearing the stupid outfits with John Morrison. Then he was doing all this other stupid crap, and he's done that. He played second fiddle when he is the World Heavyweight Champion at WrestleMania going up against Cena. He played second fiddle to Cena and The Rock. So nobody's ever taken him seriously. The only time anyone's ever taken him seriously is when he cut that shoot promo on Daniel Bryan on Talkin' Smack. And like Chuck was saying, that's the only one that he was good at. Yeah, because he's allowed to be him. If they script him less, because Miz is so freaking scripted. And you can tell. You could just listen and it's like bullshit. And freaking, so yeah, that's the problem with him. I'm only into this because I want to see Beth versus Maurice. I want to see that freaking showdown. And
But do
yeah,
you think Maurice will come back
yeah,
to wrestle?
hmm
You
she
think she
will.
will? I don't. She might. I mean, she's got a lot of going on in her personal life and everything, doing all sorts of other stuff. So
Yeah, she will, and that'll put her over. And Maurice is a really good heel. I remember her during the Divas era. She was one of the few Divas that was like legit. She could wrestle, she could talk. She did it all, and she's probably one of my favorite Divas champions. Maurice is a really good heel, and I think, and then Beth can be the badass babyface that she's always wanted to be, but never got the chance to be.
To be
Like,
honest, oh, hold on. Sorry. I'm sorry for cutting you off. Continue, Josh. I was going to say.
yeah, like Beth is always like, if you remember her in Ohio Valley, she was a heel, but she also was kind of a badass babyface, and she never got to be that on main roster.
Hmm.
And freaking, she can actually get that chance being with Edge. Of course, she's going to be a face, and she can. And the way they presented it made it look last night. She's coming in as a badass babyface, freaking defending her husband and her family. So they're going to do that, and who knows? It might lead to eventually Beth and Natty get back together, and they might have a tag team title run. I know it's not the best booking on the planet, but I always liked Beth and Natty as a tag team, and give them one run. Look cool. She could actually say she was a tag team champion, and that's it.
I'll be honest here. I think this is. Remember how like we had Brock be one of the most funnest baby faces we have ever seen in our like ever. I think this would be the moment. I think this would be best moment. I want Beth to have that moment with have that like Brock babyface moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, that will totally work.
Yeah, but that's just I see the potential there. That's the thing. I see
agree.
the potential, and overall I'm happy. Do I like the Miz? No, but I like Beth, and I like Edge, and I even like Maurice. Maurice was like one of my favorites, and so just it's more for the women is why I want to see it, because I like the idea of Beth and Maurice never had a showdown before, and they're going to get it. So that's fresh and different from that point of view. So, but let's move on to the next match. And I know this is going to be a wild one. Because Nate is a huge Liv Morgan fan. Becky Lynch defended her title against Liv Morgan, and Becky Lynch won via finishing pin. And the end was a little controversial because her foot was borderline on the ropes.
Bullshit.
And the referee still counted the 3. Referee tried to say that she didn't see it, but it kind of looked obvious that it did. And we don't know if that was botched or not. It could have been either way. And all the dirt sheets are hot about it. So I didn't mind it. I think it's building up. It's building up Liv to like get that big moment. And I don't think that she was ever going to be going over on Becky. I think Becky is a stepping stone. This way, you keep the title on Becky, and you get her ready for the real challenge, which is Charlotte Flair. I can't guarantee it, but my prediction is that Liv's going to win the Rumble, and she's going to challenge Charlotte at WrestleMania, and she's going to beat Charlotte. I think this whole feud is to get her ready, because if it's anybody who couldn't get her ready for Charlotte, it's Becky. But what are your guys' thoughts? Start with you, Nate.
Nah, actually, I want to go. I want to let Chuck go.
Yeah. All right, Chuck.
Because I'm fuming. I'm fuming right now. So.
Are you fuming with the fact that Liv got screwed?
Yes.
I rather just.
Because I mean, come on. I mean, they're not never going to give Liv Morgan a shot. No one really gets a shot in the WWE. Not really. Not unless they're big names. I I want Liv Morgan to get a shot. Now, I wanted her to win the title, but I don't think she's ever going to get a shot. And I don't think that they'll let Flair lose to her.
Yeah. I understand that completely.
When it comes to WWE, I used to be don't get me wrong, I used to be the biggest fan of WWE. I love WWE, loved them so much, and then they just lost me. I just get tired of seeing the same old.
Mm-hmm. I completely understand, Chuck. I remember when Ricochet was running the gauntlet, you wanted Ricochet to win so bad, and then he got screwed at the end by Sami Zayn. I remember how pissed off you were, and I completely understand. It's like we get invested in these people, and we look at them as heroes, and we really resonate with them, and they just get screwed time and time again over years, and it's frustrating. It's hard to keep that hope up when you just keep getting the knife, and yeah.
There's so many stars out there, potential great stars that deserve, to wear that title around their waist, and they just get, pushed to the shelf or pushed to the side or put in a dumb storyline or given a story name. Anyway, I'm sorry. I'm done.
All right, Nate, you now have the floor.
All right. I gotta be honest. I was heated beyond belief, man. Not only by how they booked this match, by the referee, they pulled the Aubrey Edwards on Liv Morgan.
They kind of did with the slow counts and everything.
Exactly. I was like, are you freaking kidding me, man? You freaking Aubrey Edwards, Liv Morgan. Okay. But
wasn't that the same referee that screwed Naomi a couple weeks ago?
Yes. And I was like, why is she here? She should not belong in this match. We know how you are. I don't trust you the moment I saw you. I was like, nope. I already know it was gonna be a screw job right then and there. But whatever. Now it took me a while. It gave me time to relax, watch my football game, close match. And now I'm seeing the light at the end of the tunnel.
Okay.
I believe that here's what I think WWE is going to try to book. They're going to let Liv win the Rumble. Then they're going to let her buy time to make people get nervous, especially with Becky, because he thinks Becky's going to come after her. But no, it's going to be a swerve going after Charlotte. Because of this situation, if it wasn't for Charlotte beating her, we wouldn't have had this Liv. And I think that this is the moment. And I know we all know how Charlotte has been becoming the biggest egomaniac since Triple H Reign of Terror. And I hope they don't pull a Booker T out of this again. But I'm gonna say this. If they I believe they're going to pull the trigger and let Liv versus Charlotte, and she's going to have a WrestleMania moment. Then we're going to have Bianca versus Becky, because Bianca needs to get that win back. And I believe that you're going to kill two birds with one stone. You're going to build two stars. You're going to build two bigger stars, and then you're going to die out the four horsewomen, because I'm getting sick and tired of these four horsewomen. Don't get me wrong. I love them in NXT. Respect them for what they have done. But they have been shooting them to the ground. And it has become a chokehold on the women's division. So I believe that if Bianca beats Becky, Liv beats Charlotte, they can still be main eventers, but the era of the four horsewomen will be done.
Yeah. All right. I would say that would be a guaranteed plan, except for the fact that one, it's WWE, and two, we're gonna have Elimination Chamber this year. So who knows?
I know.
It may be similar to that, but not exactly. I also do agree that they're going to pull the trigger on Liv for one simple reason. If they weren't, they would have released her with the rest of her Riot Squad buddies when they did.
Mm-hmm.
They have gotten rid of people, honestly, that have been more over than her.
Mm-hmm.
So they have something in mind for her for keeping her when they got rid of your Ember Moon, Sarah Logan, Ruby Soho now. All these women that they've released, they've kept Liv Morgan. She's never been pushed as a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
And another thing I'm going to say is that, yes, the finish was crap, but that match, and then that sunset power bomb that Liv did was
Beautiful.
different. The match was crisp. It was good. Liv, this is the best she has looked in her entire wrestling career. I'm talking go all the way back to NXT. Liv was a jobber in NXT. And now she's main eventing Raws with Becky Lynch, who's arguably the most over women's wrestler on the planet. And so she went from that to like now she's a big deal and she's a main eventer. I wrote to her on her timeline on Twitter and I said, hold your head up. One day you'll get your moment. I don't know when, but one day you'll get your moment. You prove without a shadow of a doubt that you're a main eventer. And nobody can take that away.
Actually, to be honest, she already proved to me in that Gauntlet match in SmackDown when it was her.
Yeah, but this is a whole building process.
Oh,
It
yeah,
may work
agreed.
out, it may not. But regardless of what happens, freaking, this is the most that Liv's ever been pushed in her career. She's
Agreed.
freaking main eventing Raws with Becky. So, like, things, the story sometimes means more to me than the title.
It's all about the journey.
And I got another question for you guys. Would you rather have a good finish or a good match? I know the perfect answer would be both. But if you had to choose one or the other, which one would you prefer?
I'd say good match.
Yeah.
I would say a good finish. Because a good match would be good. But if it has a bad ending, like a sour taste in your mouth, then yeah, I would say
I understand what Chuck's saying too, because a good match is also necessary. Because how are you going to keep the people watching and get to the finish if you have a crappy match? Sometimes people just dip out. Remember when they had Reigns versus Joe several years back, and it was the main event of the show, and everybody walked out. Like, that was legit.
Because they all know who was going to win.
Nobody cared about the storyline with Reigns versus Joe, and they just there were a bunch of people just walked out on the match. It was the main event of a pay-per-view.
Because they already know who was going to win.
Well, they didn't care. That was the thing. They were still trying to force feed Shield Reigns down our throats, despite the fact that we just weren't buying the character. And then Joe was there, and I think a draft happened. They weren't even on the same show anymore. They were just doing it for no reason. Yeah, it's pretty bad. So,
I got a question on this referee thing, on the female referee that keeps botching. Do you think they're trying to do another Nick Patrick, Danny Davis referee storyline?
No.
Did you get that question?
I get it. She just a sucky ref then?
I just think she just. Well, remember, everybody's still she's still kind of new, but most of them are kind of new. So I already know it was just a botch from her, but I still think it was. She totally Aubrey Edwards this situation. So,
but here's a question I got, and I understand what Chuck's asking. Do you think her being green is a freaking work, or that's just she's getting used to the job?
I think she's more getting used to the job.
Because what was her name? Jessica, what, Andrews?
Yeah. You mean the one who did the match with Seth Rollins and Edge, right?
Yeah, and I think she might have done Edge. She did another match last night, and like she started in NXT for a while before she started doing main roster,
Mm-hmm.
and she's gotten a whole lot better since she started in NXT. So I was just wondering that because the same woman referee was the one doing the Naomi stuff, and so they were using her in that storyline. So I didn't know if they were like doing that and thinking we're freaking connected or not. But yeah, I thought that was interesting. Oh, hey Jedi. Well, that's why I started doing the evening, man. I want you to catch these streams with us.
It's the Jedi.
Yeah, Jedi's awesome, dude. He's a regular on Phil's channel, one of the mods, and I'm starting now to do the shows in the evening, around dinner time. That way he can catch us. He said 5:30, starting 5:30, 6 o'clock p.m. was good for him. So, I'm trying to get more people. I know we don't have a lot of wrestling talk, but of course I'm trying to get more people in the chat and just get these conversations going. And this is nice. And thank you, Jedi, for being here. It was awesome. Not a problem, Jedi. I'm glad to help out. See, here's the thing. I've had to deal with this for years because I have a stubborn-ass wife and a stubborn-ass mother. All right. And so I have to accommodate everybody, and I have no problem with that. I love them both, so I like to accommodate people. And if me pushing my streams a little further back can work for everybody, I want everybody here. I want to hang out with you guys and have good conversations. So that's what I'll do. Not a problem. All right. So now we're up to the main event, and boy, was this fun. So it was. So if you guys didn't know, unfortunately, our tribal chief, Roman Reigns, contracted COVID-19, so he had to be pulled at the last minute, unfortunately. And a source with Fightful confirmed that it is legit. That was not a work. Him getting COVID-19 was real. That was shoot, and they had to change plans about 3 hours before the show went live. So that was legit. There's some other things that they didn't talk about that are pretty obvious if you know Bobby Lashley and you know the behind the scenes stuff with Bobby. Basically, when Bobby was doing the Bellator and doing the TNA Impact Wrestling thing, WWE made him an offer to come back to WWE. And Bobby said, I'll come back, but I want a match. I want a one-on-one match with Brock Lesnar. WWE said, okay, we'll do it. And that was about 5 years ago. Well, between 3 and 5 years. It was a long time ago. You can say that. And so he never got his match. So we fast forward to tonight, and so they're paying for Brock. Brock takes his money in advance, so they're paying for Brock. They got to use Brock somehow. So they put Brock in the WWE Fatal 4-Way match, which now becomes a 5-way. And that is Big E defending his title against Kevin Owens, Seth Rollins, Bobby Lashley, and now Brock Lesnar. So now everybody's freaking out. Everybody in fans, other wrestlers, everybody's freaking out. And so they're interviewing Brock before the match. And Brock says, well, my advocate, Paul Heyman, made me a free agent, so I can do this, and I'm going to win that title tonight. But the way he was doing the promo was so freaking good. Brock, I've always said that Brock can cut a promo when he's given a chance. They always put a mouthpiece on him. I think, especially like the UFC stuff, I think made Brock better on the mic because he used to cut his own promos when he was in UFC. So they get to the match, and it was good. Suplex after suplex, move after move. Match was probably about 20 minutes. freaking Bobby spears. He spears Brock through the guardrail, and like when they came in the match, I'm like, I want Bobby to get his hands on Brock because that's something that Bobby's always wanted, and I've really wanted that for him because I like Bobby. Bobby Lashley, if you didn't know, is a Army Ranger, so he's a veteran, and I was a veteran, so I was always a Bobby fan. Not the biggest Bobby fan, but I've always liked Bobby, and so when him and Lesnar were squaring down, I thought that was cool. And they were teasing a match because they protected Bobby and Brock. So Bobby and Brock is probably going to headline WrestleMania, and that was cool. But Brock ends up doing the F5 to Big E, pins him 1, 2, 3, and Brock Lesnar is your new WWE World Heavyweight Champion. And the show ends with Bobby on the outside, him and Brock having a stare down. And let's see if I can pull up the picture real quick, get you guys laughing a little bit. There's a video, but I don't want to get copyrighted. Let's go back to the top. And there it is. Brock Lesnar's your new WWE World Heavyweight Champion. So, what are your guys' thoughts?
When they brought into the Fatal 4-Way, everyone knew Brock was going to come out as champion.
Yeah, I think everybody did.
I think everybody. I mean, everybody should have believed it. But I want to address some people right now out there. All those people hating on Roman Reigns. Man, he's got COVID, dude. Get off of it.
Yeah.
It's so stupid to be hating on the guy because he's sick. Everybody, I remember when he got leukemia, and everybody, oh, but they felt sorry for him, and now he's got COVID, and everybody like, oh, they're still hating on him. And I'm like, what the heck? But yeah, I just wanted to address that. And also, I wanted to clarify something. When I say I hate a wrestler, I hate that wrestler. I don't hate the person. I hate the wrestler. Like,
You
when
hate
I
the
say
character, yeah.
I don't like the Miz as a wrestler, but I do like Miz. I like watching, the Miz and Mrs. Show and all that. But
Okay.
wrestler, I don't like him.
Yeah, I understood what you were saying, Chuck.
But when I saw Brock Lesnar was put into the Fatal 4-Way, hands down, I knew right off the bat that Brock was going to become champion. Simple as that. That's my take on it.
Okay. All right, Nate, what you got, man?
This match pissed me off in so many ways.
Why is that?
One, I felt bad for Big E because Big E was already butchered enough with his booking, made him think he's a face, but he acts like a heel, disrespecting Kevin Owens and all that type of stuff, which he did not need to do.
Yeah.
And then insert Bobby Lashley into the match where he did not need to be in the match in the first place, because it should have been Seth Rollins versus what's his face, and then you could have built that match. You could have had Kevin versus Thing Royal Rumble, Bobby Thing WrestleMania, because that would have been a great rematch and we would have loved it, especially both of them at 100%. But then, and don't get me wrong, I'm not going to disrespect Roman. Roman had a great year. He had a great year, 100%. He has pretty much transcended. He pretty much has become a GOAT in the wrestling world now with his heel turn.
Yeah.
And I pray and I hope he recovers. And I don't wish ill will to Roman. But when you inserted Brock Lesnar into this match, it showed me that Vince did not care. He did not care about. Yes, I understand you're trying to book. I understand you're trying to help Brock, trying to get him his money, and try to say, "Oh, I can do these things." But Brock did not need to be in that match. You could have just waited. Let him buy his time, do something else, And then wait till SmackDown. Wait for him on SmackDown. Wait to charge at Roman. Say where he at. Tell him he's a coward. And then Roman comes in, being all the tribal chiefs, technology, all that crap, and did that. And then the ultimate slap in the face to me is that you let Biggie take
So
the
you would have never had Brock win the title.
Never. I would
Okay.
not want that because of 3 reasons. One, we're not going to see him. That angered me because we saw what happened when he was Universal Champion.
But here's the thing: how do we know that?
Hmm?
How do we know we won't see Brock?
Because this is how.
Realize that over the past 2 months, it's the most that we've seen Brock Lesnar in his entire career.
I agree, but do you think that's going to last? That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I think it was going to last till Mania.
I don't think.
Here's the thing. How do we know that Bobby's lawyers didn't get involved, and that's why Brock won the title in the first place?
But Brock didn't need
because
in
his contract, Bobby was promised a WrestleMania match with Brock.
But
we don't know if that was a non-title. We don't know if that was for the title. Whatever was in that contract, yeah. So I don't think it was just Roman's sick. We're gonna throw Brock in there, put the title, and just give him versus Bobby. I think something was done at the last minute to really freaking force Vince in this thing, because we've always wanted Bobby versus Brock. At least I have. That's a match that people have talked about for a long time that's never gotten. So why, after all this time, especially with the releases and everything, would we get it? Yeah. And then another thing, let's not forget Mr. Bill Goldberg has 1 match left on his contract. And he has to wrestle this year. And Big E has wanted, and that's going to be Goldberg's last match. Big E has always wanted to be the last guy that Goldberg faces. And if people think that Goldberg's going for the title, that's going to go into a social media frenzy.
I'm not saying.
So if you take the title off Big E, you can give him the match that he's always wanted with Goldberg, where everybody could be happy and get into it because you know it's going to be Goldberg's last hoorah, and give him that at WrestleMania. And then send Goldberg out on a good note.
When's the last time WWE made us happy?
What's that?
I said, when's the last time WWE made us happy, though?
There's a few nuggets they do, like when Big E won the title. That was a good moment. It was a moment. But yeah, but it's WrestleMania. It's WrestleMania, and that's when the big payoffs happen.
I feel like
WrestleMania was pretty good. I remember when Undertaker had his last match against AJ at WrestleMania. I thought that was pretty good. That was like a hybrid between Dead Man and American Badass, so I didn't mind it.
I feel like for me, WWE missed a golden opportunity from this perspective. Tony Khan has already effed up with the situation with Big Swole, with the Big Swole comment. This should have been a golden opportunity to not only build new stars for this year, but not only tell people we're not like that company. Come over here, join us. I'm not saying they're gonna bring all of them there because AEW is AEW, but you'll see like, oh, we're diverse. Join here. That would be an opportunity. But for me, the ultimate problem is WWE, i.e. Vince, keep using the same people again and again and again and again. Pretty much what Warner Brothers do with Batman. And I'm going to save that rant for another day. But
Yeah, I'm gonna be doing a Batman stream this week.
I'm saving that for another. I'm saving that.
If anybody in the chat doesn't like wrestling, that's fine, but I'll be putting out some other content.
Yeah, but like I said, they use the same people again and again and run them to the ground instead of just using these other stars, building these new stars. What's the point of getting rid of all? What's the point of getting rid of all of these wrestlers, releasing all these wrestlers, even though the budget cut was stupid?
Yeah, I get that, but at the same time, it's not like the talent isn't fighting it sometimes. Do you know that they have tried to change the New Day? They have tried to turn Big E heel. And the New Day refuse to change what they are. They want to be what they are forever, and they refuse to acknowledge that they've gotten stale. Big E has refused to acknowledge that the New Day shtick doesn't work, and he needs to change it up, especially as world champion, so people take him seriously. We saw over the past 2 weeks over on AEW, when you treat your main event serious, it becomes a big freaking deal. Like, especially with freaking, like, okay, 2 weeks ago, the main event was Sting, Darby, and Punk versus Pinnacle. That felt like a real main event. That felt like a big deal. What was the opening? You had Danielson versus Hangman Paige, and that's the best Paige has ever looked. And Danielson is looking the best that he's ever looked in his life. Like, because they've taken those two marquees very seriously. And so it's a big freaking deal. Like, so yeah, when you take your main event, your marquee seriously, people get invested, and people, when it's a comedy, nobody's going to get involved in that. Nobody likes that. Comedy's okay, but you can't make it the main event. But Big E's fought. They wanted to turn him heel. They want to go heel. They wanted to split up the New Day. New Day refused to split up. Like, they pitched out ideas, but if the talent turns it down, then it's the talent's fault. Like, I remember one time where freaking Vince was pitching out ideas and Stone Cold couldn't stand any of them. And then he said, Stone Cold, come up with your own, or Austin, come up with your own. And then he came up with a Stone Cold character. When somebody puts forth that effort, it works. But if they're not willing to put forth the effort, then yeah. There's some talent out there that can take anything and make it good. It's just what they want to do. If they're refusing to change, and sometimes that change isn't good. Sometimes that change is crap. Like, freaking nothing's been able to get Jinder Mahal over. So change hasn't worked for him. But sometimes change can help. But yeah, Big E wasn't working. With what he was doing, it wasn't working. The babyface that's kind of a jerk, that doesn't work. So he had the push didn't work, and it wasn't going to be a long time push because it's Money in the Bank. Everybody complains about hot shot and the title, but that's what Money in the Bank does every single time. It hot shots the title, and they don't have it long. Other than Seth Rollins, I don't know of someone who's held the title a long time after winning Money in the Bank. But yeah, like, so that wasn't working. Yeah, I don't think putting it on Brock may be the best idea. But at the same time, if it's going to get Bobby the match he's always wanted so he can fulfill his contract and be happy, like, I maybe that was a good idea. And maybe we get like a Rollins KO tag team because they got good chemistry or something like that. It could work, but I definitely understand the frustration. And like, not that long ago, we had Roman's. Roman was Universal Champion, still is, and he's part Samoan. Then you had Big E, African American. Raquel Gonzalez was Latino. So the whole diversity in champions WWE, that shouldn't be diminished. And I understand, Nate, what you're saying especially coming off this week with the whole Big Swole TK thing. I think Big Swole's going to end up in WWE. I think because her husband Cedric Alexander's in WWE, I think she's going to end up in WWE. And I wouldn't be surprised if she didn't cut one of. Remember when X-Pac left WCW and come to WWE and they cut the shoot promo?
X-Pac.
Yeah, I know X-Pac sucks, but you know what I'm saying. I wouldn't be surprised if she didn't show up in WWE and they said, "Here's 5 minutes, say whatever you want."
I would like that.
Because nobody's defected. Well, you had Tino Sabatelli, but who really counts that?
No one cares. No one cares about that dude.
But you've never really had someone defect from AEW to WWE. The talk and the buzz that would cause, I think Vince would do it just for that.
Just for spite.
Yep, just for spite. I think Vince would do it just for that. And that's something that you could talk Vince into, because that would create buzz, and he likes that kind of stuff.
You know, he likes controversy.
Oh yeah. What did I tell you months ago, Nate? I told you in the end, WWE's gonna have the last laugh.
You're true. You did say that.
I'm like, it's gonna be a long road. We're gonna have a lot of moments. WWE's gonna take a shit ton of L's. They're gonna get their butts kicked by AEW. There's no doubt about that. I don't think them winning the ratings war. I think it's gonna be long, and I think it's gonna be about several more years before the end happens. AEW is gonna have they're gonna have success. I think they are gonna kick the crap out of WWE for a while, despite the stuff that coming out with TK. But I think inevitably WWE will win in the end.
I don't think so. I think WWE is a sinking ship.
I partially agree with Chuck. I partially agree because remember,
we were all around during the Attitude Era. They thought it was
we were exactly. But I think with WWE, if they keep doing the same booking crap, doing the same person winning every single time instead of building new stars, that they're gonna bring people going to AEW, because even though AEW have its faults, and they do, especially when it comes to their women's division.
All right, you want to talk about putting the same people on top? Look at who main evented WrestleMania 3 years in a row from 1998, 1999, and, well, not 3 in a row because he took 2000 off because of injury, but 98, 99, and 01. Stone Cold Steve Austin. He won 3 Royal Rumbles and main evented 3 WrestleManias. That's not building a new star, but yet still made the company money and is probably one of the biggest reasons why they won the Monday Night War. My point is that when push comes to shove, WWE will turn their crap around. They haven't had to because they haven't felt that they needed to. And I'm not justifying that. Trust me, I love AEW. And I want them to freaking take out WWE. But the thing is, we thought Tony Khan was this great guy. We thought he was giving us all what we want. Then we get the Cody crap. Then he's coming out with this stuff. After he's tried to make AEW the SJW promotion. That didn't work out because people like that's bullcrap. We don't want politics in our wrestling. We want we want good storylines, and we want matches that we can enjoy. And so that didn't work. And now the main eventers are mostly guys coming over the other brand, which makes your company look like crap. All right.
They're pretty much a bigger TNA Impact. I mean,
yeah, they're doing a little bit better because they're getting people all over the world, which is cool. But eventually, that's going to run out. It's like if you don't like look how Christian debuted. The AEW was so accustomed to big debut that when Christian debuted and then when Leo Rush debuted, people crapped all over it
because nobody cared.
Yeah, because they were so accustomed to this big, huge debut, and then and so they said Hall of Fame worthy,
but he's not Hall of Fame worthy.
Oh, some would consider that he is. Just because I don't like him and you don't like him doesn't mean he isn't. But and I'm getting to this, the way it made it sound as like we were getting an edge or something like that. But yeah, it never, like, everybody thought it was underwhelming because it's just Christian. They try to diminish what Christian was. Christian could be very entertaining, but I don't know if he's like a main eventer type. I've never been invested in him like that, but that's just me. I don't want to take away how other people feel in their favorites and stuff like that. Like, we all have our favorites.
Yeah.
And that's fine. And we have wrestlers that might be our favorites, but not others. And that's fine as well. Like, I like Drew McIntyre. I'm a big fan of his. Chuck isn't. But does Chuck suck because he doesn't like my favorite? Nah, still a great guy. He has his favorite. I have my favorite.
No, cool. It's true. He does. He he should be embracing Drew McIntyre. I'm joking.
Yeah. So that's my whole point with that. But like, AEW goes for the feels. And like, here's the thing. You got a lot of good guys, you got a lot of bad guys. Who's to say who's good guy is going to be the guy? You know how many times I got crapped on because I think Darby Allin's the man? And everybody's like, no, Hangman's the guy. I'm like, it just depends on what your preference is. I like Darby Allin because he's got the crow gimmick. I like that anti-hero, that dark, like your Batman Spawn type character. That's just cool to me. Or like an Undertaker type. So I like him, your Aleister Black, Sting, those type of characters. Those anti-heroes. Like, not everybody likes that. A lot of AEW fans are behind Hangman Paige. He's a great good guy. I like Darby better. I think Darby's cool. Yeah, he's smaller, but that doesn't mean he's any less awesome to me. Like, Sting wasn't. You realize that Sting is like 3 to 4 inches shorter than freaking Hogan, but yet he was more in WCW during the Attitude Era. He was way more over than Hogan was. Now, NWO was a big deal, but Hogan as a single, the crow gimmick just freaking put him so over. And it was great. But yeah, I like Darby. And yeah, it's the argument of who should be top. And my biggest thing is like putting these big deals and paying off these stories. Did it really improve the ratings that much?
No.
As like, I want a ton of people. I want people to watch. This is my dream, and I know it's a dream because it's never going to happen. I want as many people to watch wrestling overall. I don't care what promotion you like. I want people to overall watch wrestling like they did back in the day. But I don't think we'll ever get back to 8 million ever.
I think we could get close to it. Like around.
I would love.
Five to
I would
6.
even be happy. I would even be happy to get into the 3.5 or 4. I just want people to watch wrestling and get into it again. And so it's hard. It's like who do you got to put the title on to get us get AEW to 2 million?
The thing AEW needs. There's a 10-step plan for this. They already did 1 through 4, which they got that part down. It's 5 through 10. It's 5 through 10 that they really need to work on. They need to build the women's division. They already took a step in the right direction with the street fight, but they got to build off of that. Especially with the women, with the women's championship. Mm-hmm. And even though Britt Baker is not my cup of tea, she's not my favorite wrestler. I think she's a bit boring when it comes to her shoot promos. But I like Shida. I was a big fan of Hikaru Shida, and I think that even as the years went on, especially now she's talking trash in English, I'm getting very impressed, and she's getting better, especially with the situation with Serena Deeb.
Yeah.
Now, with Britt, they just need to stop doing. Yes, she is a heel. I understand it. But when you had to have help every time for a wrestling defense, that's gonna cheapen. That's gonna make people do not care about your title reign.
All right. I was listening to a podcast last night, and what I heard makes sense, and it's because it's how I feel. I'm going to ask your guys' opinion. The Britt Baker storyline doesn't make sense to me.
It don't.
Because she's supposed to be a heel, but she gets cheered, but she keeps healing it up. And then Tony Schiavone, who's supposed to be a babyface commentator, is now her buddy, but then he kind of shills for her, and
He's a punk.
but he's supposed to still be the good guy, but then says she's the greatest and she's the heel, and it just confuses me as a fan.
But and also with the situation with MJF too, he seems to be babyface, but he talks so much crap to MJF, and he did not do anything. To be honest, he should have gone with. I mean, JR should have been the one talking more crap to MJF than Tony.
Yeah, because JR at the same time is buddies with Conrad Thompson, and ain't nobody bullied Conrad Thompson worse than freaking MJF.
Exactly.
Conrad Thompson legitimately hates MJF. Shoot, because of the promos that MJF would cut on Conrad Thompson when AEW first debuted.
That was. I mean, those promos were bad though.
That was brutal. Like
It
I used to be overweight and bullied, and like it wasn't as bad.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I just that part I don't get. Like if anybody Tony should be talking crap about should be Adam Cole, because Adam Cole kind of bullied him
all the time, and yet he still gives Adam Cole good graces. But
yeah,
I think I know the reason why he would do that, because remember, he's still buddy with he's still with Britt Baker.
It doesn't make it. Those there are a couple of things that doesn't make sense. But like AEW as a whole still is better than WWE from a creative aspect. Creatively, yes, it is. Do they have some issues? Yeah. But overall, it's good. It's just sad that they can't get better ratings than what they do. But a lot of people, I've talked to a lot of casuals. The comedy stuff is too much for them, basically. Like when it comes to actual wrestling, yeah, they enjoy the hell out of it. Like everybody I was talking to was talking about Hangman versus Danielson this week. Like that's like their favorite match of the week.
Listen, I'm focused. You already know who I'm focusing on.
Yeah, like that's just overall, and of course we're doing the watch party Wednesday, so that's gonna be really good. Yeah, it's just like it's disappointing because like. Especially, and I'll talk about this for a minute, the stuff with Big Swole and TK. TK's response, even like your Fightfuls and your
Wrestle Talks
and stuff, it's like that was wrong. He really, when TK made that comment that says, "Oh, you're pretty much just a crap wrestler," that wasn't good.
He pretty much tried to CM Punk this situation.
Oh, you're talking about the one where freaking CM Punk was trashing Tebow?
No, he was trying. No, not that one. The one with Eddie Kingston. That one, no. That one.
Oh
yeah, that one was awful. I don't want to talk about that one, but I'm talking about the one with Eddie Kingston where he calls him a bum. It's pretty much his version of calling Big Swole a bum.
Yeah, that didn't go over well because we've all seen Big Swole in multiple promotions are good, and that's the thing that people were. And like I had to do research myself. I didn't know Big Swole was. I knew she was liked. That's no pun intended. That's undisputed, but. I knew she was well liked. I just didn't know she was that well liked. Like she is highly respected in the wrestling community and in the black community. And yeah, she's a big deal and a lot of people look up to her. And when she tried to call it out, like, hey, you need more diversity. Diversity isn't just putting people in matches. Diversity is putting people over. And Jade Cargill's over.
Mm-hmm.
That's obvious. Like people who don't follow Twitter don't know how over she is. I didn't until I started following her on Twitter. She is a very nice person and very sweet, and you know that she's playing a character when she does this heel stuff. And she's so nice to everybody. If you follow her on Twitter, she'll personally message you and say, "God bless you. Have a great day."
AEW's Bianca Belair.
Yeah, and Jade's such a nice person, and but she's the only one that's over. Like,
everybody, I mean, even Thunder Rosa's over too.
They claim Kira Hogan, but they squashed her.
Yes,
You could have had her lose eventually, but like the way they brought her in, they were building her up, so she shouldn't have lost. And that's what I'm saying. I don't have a problem with people losing, but there's a way to do it. And like the more stuff that comes out, the more WWE they're going with it. Like Cody knows he needs to turn heel.
It's only a matter of time.
And like that's why I think that Brandy's a little smarter than him. Because Brandy ain't pretending to be the face. Brandy basically said, "I'm the bitch. You want the bitch? That's what I'm going to give you."
Mm-hmm.
Brandy will give the crowd whatever they want. She does every time. She's going heel because she knows that's what they want. She's not trying to go face when, and like that's the thing. If you pattern yourself on being the anti-WWE, then you need to be the anti-WWE. Basically, they can do it. It's just like some of their creative isn't the best. Some of it is. Overall, they're better than WWE. We can all agree to that. But TK needs to realize that just because you let someone wrestle on your program doesn't mean that's showing diversity. Scorpio Sky, he had all the potential in the world, but they have dumbed him down so bad. Like when they turned him heel on Cody, it's like, okay, him and Cody are going to go to the program. Cody still had the TNT title at that time. Scorpio's eventually going to come out TNT champion. He's going to get a push. Then that didn't happen. Then they put the title on Darby, and then he lost it to Miro, and then that has been an issue. Not with me personally, but I have seen it with an issue in the wrestling community that AEW is not putting over diverse talent, which is fine. Like, I don't want to make it an SJW thing because you know my stance on that. But it's an interesting topic, and you can use people without, like, I'm not saying make Scorpio Sky the AEW World Champion. And like that TNT title can be the workhorse title. You can switch up that title every few months to give everybody a chance in these workhorse rivalries. Who wouldn't want to see? I know we've seen it a couple times, but who wouldn't want to see an Iron Man match between a Scorpio and a Darby? I think that'd be entertaining, personally. What do you guys think about it all?
I'll let Chuck go.
I'm not a Scorpio fan. I never liked him. I never liked him at all. So I don't have no say on that.
Okay.
Sorry.
It's cool.
I think for me in this standpoint, AEW just gotta make brand new stars, build new matches, because pretty much most of the people are WWE guys. And
so do you? Let me ask you a question real quick. I'll let you go on. So do you think that they have the same? They have some of the same problem that WWE does, where they don't build newer stars?
Yes.
Okay. Because they've been working on Paige, and that was a great long-term storytelling. But other than that, have they really been doing long-term storytelling with people?
But the problem is with these long-term story bookings, long-term storytelling, is that exactly what it is. At the end, yes, it'll be okay if you pull the trigger. Yes, I agree. But like, say for instance, I'll give you a brief example. Like with Cody. Yes, I understand that you put the title on him for the after he beat Sammy Guevara.
Hmm.
Why? And I understand why they put him back. But I was thinking to myself, I was like, you could have had either Ethan Page or Scorpio Sky win the title, win the TNT title. Cody did not need to do that. He could have had, hell, Miro should have been the one to face off against Cody, because that would have pushed him into even a bigger depth. Because as much as I don't like the Redeemer, even though I don't like the Redeemer, I believe that Cody needs. See, the problem is with Cody, he's trying to do that boiling point, pretty much what Homelander did in The Boys. Good show, by the way. But with Cody, he needs a physical breaking point, because literally, imagine, just put this for an example. Say it's gonna be like cage match. Miro breaks him, like pretty much pull a Batman style, pull a Bane Batman style, break the roads. By the way, which would be a good shirt, by the way. Make him break, then he comes back heel. He leaves. He's leaving. We haven't seen him for like 3 to 6 months. Come back, new person, heel. Destroys everybody. Then he reneges on his thing that he wasn't going to be winning the title again, but he's going to win, and he's going to beat Hangman Paige 1, 2, 3, game over. And then we go with the evil heel run, King of Kings, Reign of Terror type of deal.
Yeah. So do you think that Cody is doing this because when he does turn heel, it'll be that big WTF moment? Or do you think he's trying to go into business for himself?
No,
I want both your guys' opinions on that.
Go, Chuck.
Go ahead, Nate. I'm trying to think on that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Give Chuck.
Every time I always try to give Chuck. I'm like, oh, back.
He's like, I got to think about that.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I'll give him a minute. Go ahead, Nate.
It's like I'm passing the ball. Nope, get it back. Nah, but I don't think Cody's that type of person. I don't think he's in it for himself, because he has seen what happened. Cody has seen how WWE booked these big sweaty men, and as in my King Ross voice. For me, I think Cody is doing this long-term booking to because he's trying to get himself the break. Because if you guys saw the match with All Eagle Ethan Page,
yeah,
you saw there was a switch. You saw that heel turn it's creeping up at him. If I had to rate it, it's like 55% creeping up at him. And when it's 100%, he's just gonna destroy everyone.
What do you guys think about Dan Lambert?
I like Dan Lambert.
Me too. Yeah. I actually do.
I always dub him Dirty Dan. Cause he shoot, and don't give a crap.
Here's the thing. A lot of the newer fans think that they're tributing old school, and they're not. And Dan Lambert calls them out on it. And I just think it's freaking awesome. Because my parents were old school. They love the Von Erichs. And that was still kind of a high flying style, but at the same time you had the actual wrestling and all these flippy dudes and crap. I like a little bit of it, but too much, and it just feels like a cruiserweight match to me. That's why I'm such a big AJ Styles fan, is because he found a way to combine the technical style and some of the high flying style and to wrap it all in one.
To be honest, the closest thing we had that was pretty much was Joe in his TNA days and Keith Lee.
Yeah,
Because if you saw his matches with Dominic Dijakovic, it was. I gotta be honest. I have never seen a man who jump, who do like a crazy dive on a chair like that. And I was like, this man is insane. And I like him about it. I always like I said, Keith Lee is probably one of my favorite. Was probably one of my favorite wrestlers, and I knew him from the Indies. And
Yeah,
each match, it just like when you have a wrestler captivate you just by his style,
Mm-hmm.
and you get hooked on it. And then when he comes to NXT, and he just became the guy, even though someone spoiled the championship, stupid. But
Yeah, that was how it was with Darby. When
Yeah.
Darby first came in, he was going up against Cody all the time, and Cody made him look like a dwarf.
mhm.
I liked Cody when he first started, and freaking, I didn't know who to go for because there's all these guys from the Indies, and I was a casual. And Sting was still on WWE roster, but he was like an alumni. So I didn't know who was going to be my guy. I didn't know who was going to be my favorite in AEW. So I was just watching because it was different, and it's on freaking TNT. And I was a WCW guy back in the day.
And
So
I
wrestling
remember
on TNT is just cool to me. And so I didn't know who I originally, the first person that I liked that was in AEW was Pac, or Neville, as the WWE fans know him. And I just liked his style. Thought he was cool. Thought he was great on the mic. So I didn't know who. Like, I was thinking homegrown. I just wasn't into Adam Page. Anybody who does a cowboy gimmick is just not me. But I started watching Darby, and this kid
Yeah.
had so much heart. Cody would knock him down and knock him down. And he would just fight and fight. And I saw it there, and it just that captivated me because I'm like, this dude's got heart like Sting. And then he had the look with the anti-hero and the face paint, and I'm just like, that's my Sting. That's my Sting, and that's my guy. And I became a Darby fan at that moment.
I was already a Darby fan, but the one that got me over was when he faced off against John Moxley, and you saw how he like just stay down right now, and the dude still keep getting up. He got two paradigm shit, and the dude still wants to get up. I was like, this man. I was like, stay down for God's sakes, but
Yeah.
and I'll tell you the best thing about Darby is how he relates. It's like how the fans the fans over the fans is so over on him. And now
I feel like when Paige came in, they already wanted him to be the guy. I think Darby had to earn it.
Mhm.
And I think over time, the popularity and freaking fans getting behind Darby was organic, and he had to earn it, and he did earn it. But yeah.
You know what also is the biggest mistake as well is letting Chris Jericho win the title.
Yeah, I think that was. I think if you're going to have an inaugural champion, it needs to be a homegrown talent.
Which I believe Paige would have been a perfect choice.
I understand what they were doing, trying to put it on a big name.
Yeah.
But I think putting it on Paige initially would have been better than to put it on Jericho or putting it on Kenny. Because Kenny was a big name. I think Kenny's name was bigger than Jericho's if you're looking outside of WWE. And within the WWE crowd, Chris Jericho isn't like the man. He's not like a Stone Cold or a Goldberg or a Rock. So I never agreed with them putting the title on Jericho. I think it should have started with Kenny versus Paige and freaking maybe put it on Kenny. Because like for years I heard about Kenny Omega. He was a big deal, and I was just a WWE guy before AEW started. I watched ROH on the weekends, but I heard in his freaking infighting with freaking Cody when they were Bullet Club. Freaking, I heard of Kenny Omega. So his name I thought held more weight than Jericho's did. So if it was me, I would have put the title on Kenny. And you could have still done the same storyline with Hangman that you did in the long-term storytelling. But yeah, I thought Kenny would have been a better choice. Chuck, who's your favorite in AEW?
My favorite wrestler in AEW?
Yeah.
I can't have this.
You like a lot of. That's cool.
I like a lot of them. I mean, I'm a big fan of Kenny Omega. I used to be, okay, when the AEW first came around, I jumped on the Cody bandwagon.
Oh
Now,
yeah.
like, I'm so sick of Cody Rhodes.
Mm-hmm.
I am. I mean, I don't understand what the deal with him, taking the title away from everybody else all the time. I don't get that. I don't, I don't really, to be honest, I'd rather have Cody Rhodes in the background of AEW
Yeah.
than wrestling.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
Give them other chances and stuff, like Darby, and people like that. And I love Darby. Darby's a great wrestler. I like Anthony Bowens. I would get rid of the Acclaimed, have Anthony Bowens go by himself.
Nope.
Easy. Okay, let's let him talk for a second, Nate.
Caster is the greatest, maybe doing a little rap jokes, whatever. But as a wrestler, that dude is horrible, man. He's holding Anthony back. Go ahead,
Okay,
Nate.
so you're not into the claim thing.
All right. Okay. I'm going to tell you this. Yes. I will agree with you on yes, he's being held back, but I'm telling you, you don't know they're getting over. The
on dark the Acclaimed is getting over because of that.
Yeah.
But the thing is you go either way. And if Max Caster's in a contract, you got to use him. And yes, in a way, he is kind of holding him back. Because Anthony Bowens, you could push him. You really could. But I think it needs more time because I think Anthony Bowens needs to form a character. He needs to be able to cut those promos. Mm-hmm. Because if you pull the trigger on Anthony Bowens now, he's going to be no better than Riho. And I know a lot of people like Riho. But Riho is never going to be the big draw. She was the first women's world champion because of Kenny. And then how long before they took the title off of her?
The reason they took the title off of her was because of the pandemic thing. If she
but and then they put it on Shida. What sense does that make? They're both from Japan.
Yeah, but I think it was a visa thing. I think that was it.
Yeah, and then they haven't put. And when she came back, they should have just put her straight, but they didn't. They just put her on dark. What, for about 6 months?
True.
Exactly. That's my whole thing. Riho's never going to be the main event. She'll have this rivalry with Brett, but Brett's going to beat her.
Of course, we all know this.
She ain't going over on Brett, and this rivalry is to make up for that lost push. That's what it is. Straight up.
Agree.
They're not giving Riho this push of the greatness of their hearts. They're doing this to be even square. Britt's gonna beat her, which is gonna give time for Thunder Rosa to get through this rivalry with Mercedes Martinez. And then after that, Thunder's gonna go for that title and she's gonna get it. After that, I don't know. Either you can pull the trigger on Thunder versus Jay, title for title, or you can just draw it out for a while. But, that's where I see it going with that. But that's a problem. They have these veterans and these other people to mentor and to help with creative. But they don't have anybody in the women's division to do that. They don't have a leader. They don't have an experienced person.
And they don't have a booker.
You put in that position. Because the ones that are saying, I can help with creative, aren't really that creative. Gail Kim, she's had an opportunity to do things with Impact, and we got Mickie James doing the same crap that she's been doing for the past 20 years, which doesn't get anyone over. It doesn't. It feels good, and freaking, it's good to put yourself over, I guess, but she's not really helping anybody. She's not really helping anybody, and it's not working out. And then what did Maria Kanellis do in ROH? Was there a big rivalry? Giving Roxy the title? I think Roxy's a big name. and then the Diana stuff, but that's all I pretty much saw out of that. If I'm being unfair, let me know. I don't want to be unfair. So.
No, you're right.
Like,
You're right.
Yeah, if there's something that I missed that you guys like, oh no, they did this build and that was good, fine. But I love Hikaru Shida, and I loved her run. Her as champion, she was one of my favorites. And they never let her do promos. They could subtitle it, and Hikaru Shida always looks badass. Towards the end of her title reign is when she finally got to cut promos. And she knew English. I think she's known English this whole time. Yeah, they finally give her a chance to shine, and Shida was awesome. The stuff with Abaddon, that was getting over.
Mm-hmm.
That was when she was starting to form a real personality and to come up with that Final Fantasy type badass fighter character.
Yeah, she was totally rocking the Tifa.
She always carried around the kendo stick, but she started using the kendo stick.
Mm-hmm.
And she had to do by any means necessary.
Mm-hmm.
And she got through Abaddon when nobody thought she would. And freaking, she took that rivalry, which looks cartoonish, Resident Evil as hell, and like turned it into something that I actually got into. So it was sometimes the supernatural gimmicks are like you can't suspend your disbelief, but in that one, I think it got over a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But like people wanted Britt so bad that it was just like they had to do it. They had to pull the trigger on Britt. And I understand that. Even though I'm not a Brit fan, I understand that. But what has she done? She had a couple cool matches. She had the thing with Thunder Rosa that really put Thunder Rosa over. So that's good. I guess that's what you can get out of it. But other than that, like the rivalry with Tay Conti, that was disappointing. That really didn't piss me off as much as it made me sad. Because during the Tay Conti feud, what were we all talking about? What were all the fans talking about? They weren't talking about Tay Conti. They were talking about Rosa. They even had a 6-woman tag match. And the focus was on Rosa when the number one contender was Tay Conti. And then she defended the title in between with Anna Jay. And it's just...
They had a great match Friday.
What's that?
That Friday match on Rampage with Tay Conti and Anna Jay against Penelope Ford and Bunny.
Oh yeah,
I heard that. I haven't seen it, but I heard that street fight was really good.
Dude, that was a barn burner. It was awesome.
And like that rivalry kind of reminds me of the Usos and the New Day. To be honest with you, people are sick and tired of it, but they got one that was decent.
But here's the difference between that rivalry and the Usos rivalry. The Usos rivalry, each one, they always elevated themselves again and again and again and again and again. With Ty Cut with the Jobber Blondes and the TJ is they were boring. It was a boring match. There was always again and again singles matches, and we all know what was going to happen. Interference, pin, win. Interference, pin, win, repeat. Interference, pin, repeat. And then finally they did a squash feud match, which was a good match. And that's the big difference. Usos, even though it is becoming tedious now, they still go above and beyond with their matches.
Yeah, but at the same time, I try to look at it from both sides. At the same time, that's how the New Day and the Usos were for a long time. I'm glad it's a whole lot better now, and it is a whole lot better. Like last night's match, I was really into. And I like the Usos, but even if I like the Usos, if I see something freaking 50 times in 1 year, I'm going to get bored.
Oh, like the Aleister Black and Seth Rollins situation?
Yeah, like when you see a match so many times, you get bored, even if you like the talent, even if they're great talent, even if the booking is good. If you see it so many times, it just gets boring. And like that's what I'm afraid of with Bunny and Penelope Ford. They're not doing anything. They're not investing in their characters. It's Anna Jay and her buddy from Brazil versus these two crazy blondes. That's the character, and that's sad because you could do so much more, and it's just not. I think Allie Bunny is really good. Like her stuff in TNA, they gave her character, they gave her depth. Like she was really good in Impact. But Penelope Ford, she's only been known for Kip Sabian's wife / girlfriend / heel who's buddies with Bunny for some reason. Like they haven't given Penelope Ford very little to no character. So yeah, like that's what they got to work on. It's their women's division is the big problem because they have like if you look at the main event scene, whether you're looking at the MJF Punk that part, which feels like a main event, or if you're looking at Danielson versus Hangman Paige, those main event scenes top anything WWE does in their main event scene. But nothing, no women's championship, whether it's the TBS, which we know Jade's going to get it.
See you later, Jedi.
Or they've been grooming up Jade Cargill for way too long not to put the title on her. They have been grooming her up for so freaking long. And unlike WWE, AEW gives their payoffs perfect. Just like AEW they pay their wrestlers off. They do the perfect payoffs. I don't care what it is, whether we like the talent getting put over or not. Their payoffs are amazing. So freaking Cargill's going to get that title.
Oh.
But freaking AEW's women's can't touch Liv versus Becky. What's been going on? Of course, they're going to have to do different now because now we got to get ready for Royal Rumble. That's going to change. We don't know where it's going to go. It could go good or it could go to crap. It's only a matter of time. But let me read this comment. Got to go to sleep now. Have a great night, everyone. Good vibes. Thanks for the wonderful stream. Thanks, Jedi, for hanging out, man.
Peace out, Jedi.
If you want me to cover a topic, we'll cover it on a future thing. Thanks for showing up. I appreciate it. But yeah, man, I'm gonna start doing these evenings so you can join us in the chat, hanging out, talking about stuff. So we're gonna be doing tomorrow night. We're gonna be doing some Star Wars Old Republic watch-alongs. So there'll be short films. It should be pretty fun. You know, just 5 to 20 minute films. We'll probably do that for like 40 minutes or so, and yeah. Or if anything else you guys want me to cover over the week, just hit me up on the old Discord and just throw an idea out there, and I'll put it in. Not a problem. I'm willing to talk about everything. I don't always want to talk about it at the same time. Thanks, Jedi. Have some good sleep, brother. All right. But yeah, it's been really fun. We all got different opinions. And I respect all those opinions. I want to give everyone time to talk. I don't want to rush anybody. I know we've been going for almost 2 hours now. I told my wife I was only going to do 30 minutes. But I want to give everybody a chance to talk. And we're having a good time. We're just talking about wrestling. And we covered the WWE show. We got a watch party going on Wednesday. I think it's going to be a blast.
Oh, it will be.
We've got AEW. They're building up some really good rivalries for the most part. Mm-hmm. I'm a little upset that my guys thinking Darby ain't getting their tag team title shot, but it's all right.
It's gonna happen, Josh.
Yeah. Eventually, it will. I think.
Yeah. Isn't Lucha Bros defending the titles against Jurassic Express Wednesday?
Yes.
I do.
Okay, so that's gonna be a banger. We know it is.
We all know. I think it's gonna be even. I say whoever makes the mistake is gonna win the match.
Do you think that you think that Christian is turning heel and he might be manipulating Jungle Boy a little bit, or
no?
I'm thinking he's trying to freaking weasel his way to split them up because we ain't seen Marco Stunt in a while.
I don't think so.
I like Jungle Boy. I think he does need a split from Jurassic eventually because he needs that top level. Jungle Boy's amazing. I like Luchasaurus too. It's hard. I like what he can do, especially for a big guy. Lucha Bros. I'm such a big Pentagon fan. I've always liked Pentagon. Pentagon is like him and Kenny is what got me invested into AEW in the first place. Just I saw their matches in Japan and all over the world, and I just thought these are the two best outside of WWE. These guys are like the two best in the business, and just yeah.
I gotta be honest. The best swerve from that match was when Chris Jericho was pretty much dressing up and doing all the moveset of Pentagon Jr., which is very.
That's the thing. Like, isn't Chris Jericho a whole lot taller than Pentagon? Or
no, he's not. He's not as tall. I think he's like a couple inches taller.
Oh, okay. I was just because I remember that, but
yeah, he's a couple inches taller. You know, he's not tall. He's not like this. He's like they're pretty much like literally. They're not the same, but he's like a couple inches taller.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, like AEW's got some of the best talent out there, and I'm so glad Lucha Bros decided to go to AEW instead of sticking with freaking Impact, dude. Like when I saw, and I know they're playing heels at the time, when I saw that they laid out the Bucks, because at first I was into the Bucks until they started their freaking cartoon bullcrap. I used to be into the Bucks, and when they freaking did that package pile driver on the freaking stage when they were in Vegas, I was just like, oh my god, I hate these guys, but I love them at the same time. And when they freaking did that as the first feud, I was like, that's cool.
Nah, I remember my favorite match. It was between Lucha Bros versus Santana and Ortiz in that crazy death-defying match. I literally was jaw dropped. It's like I really thought like as each match, it's like who's gonna one up who. Mm-hmm. Next minute it was like a crazy ladder springboard Hurricane Rana. One was a oh my god! It was like each maneuver was just out of control. Yeah. It's sad that it was an Impact, but I still love that. So ever since then, I really can't wait. But for the Lucha Bros and Jurassic Express, I already know it's going to be a barn burner of a match. It's going to be a great match. And I really, to be honest, I believe Christian wants to. I think Christian wants to like push Jungle Boy out the way so he can be the leader of what's his face.
Oh, okay. So you think that it's going to be a rivalry between Christian and Jungle Boy? Huh?
Exactly.
Okay. That definitely sounds interesting.
Because remember, he's trying to. I believe this would be a payoff because this will finally get him into being a single star. He could still be part of Jurassic Express, but he's going to be more into the single star push. And
it's just sometimes that can be tough. People were like, "Oh, I'm in a group, but I'm single too." Like a lot of times that doesn't work.
But the thing about it I will say the one good thing about AEW is that even when you're in a group, you can be shining as a single competitor.
Sometimes, yeah, but then sometimes not. Like, look at Sammy Guevara. He was supposed to be the shining star out of the Inner Circle.
But the problem is they pretty much the problem is with that Inner Circle is that it pretty much centered around Chris Jericho instead of centering around everybody else.
Yeah, but Sammy was being billed as the future star, and you could see where he was starting to become the top guy out of it when Jericho's not around. But even when Jericho's not around, it's just Sammy hasn't gotten over. I think the comments derailed him when he had to go through that sensitivity training. He was taken off TV for a while. I think
Yeah,
I think it derailed him a little bit, and that definitely didn't help. And then him going over on Miro, I don't think was believable.
Yeah.
I think they were trying to make the unbelievable believable, and it just gone. And like we're getting UE and AEW, but their first match was against the Best Friends. I would have rather their first match against Jungle Express, who they had a rivalry with. Adam Cole's had a rivalry with Jungle Boy for like the past month or so,
which was good.
I said, or not Jungle Express. Sorry, Jurassic Express.
Or is it Jack? It's Jack Express, Jack Perry Express.
No, don't start with the Jack thing.
I'm sorry.
I can only have JR in doses.
I gotta go.
And, but yeah, like
I gotta go. I don't mean to interrupt you real quick, but I gotta go.
Oh, okay, Chuck.
Bye, Chuck.
Interrupt you or nothing, but I had to tell you I had to go. So.
Oh, it's okay, Chuck. Thanks
It's
for coming
all
on the
good.
show, man. Great to have you.
Yeah.
All right, guys. I'll see you next time.
All right.
All
Bye,
right, have a
Chuck.
good one, Chuck.
You have a good day.
You
Peace.
too. Yeah, it was. But yeah, everyone here, or just us two, to wrap this up. Thanks for joining us. Give us a like and a subscribe. And we're going to be doing some Star Wars stuff tomorrow. So take it easy until next time.